Episode number 130 of Making the Case. We're in the age of independence. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, great folks? We back with another episode of Making the Case. We're on episode 130. I'm your host, none other than Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms. One, we attack points and not people, and then two, we don't do all the cussing, derogatory stuff because we're professional over here. All right, so today we're talking about the age of independence, and you may be thinking, what are you saying? Okay. Or what do you mean by that? Okay. Now, I think unless you've been hiding under a rock, you understand that the dating game is a little bit different, right? And oftentimes I hear women talk about how dating is so different, right? So before I go down that road, many of you that are familiar with history, right? You've heard of the Age of Revolution, you heard of the Industrial Revolution. You heard of the Age of Enlightenment. You heard of the Scientific Revolution, right? And we can go on and on, but I think I've given you enough examples. I consider this time, and we're specifically talking about men and women relations, I consider this the age of independence. So what we have seen probably over the last decade, if we really just want to focus in on a certain time period, I believe over the last decade, what we've seen is we've seen women who focus on themselves, women who focus on their careers, women who focus on quote unquote the bag, women who are having kids but are not prioritizing having family and having a husband. So this has created a very much of a cultural shift, right? We understand, and I've covered enough when it comes to the stats on single parent household and how that is going in our society, and the ramifications of that, right? So unfortunately, when you leave women up to their devices and they're prolonging marriage, they're prolonging having kids, and even if they are having kids, they're not prioritizing having a husband or having a man there to balance out that situation. It's then had dire effects for our society. And even with all of that, I don't think women think about it from a collective standpoint. Because if we looked at it from a majority standpoint, society wise, maybe women will have a different standpoint on it, but they're only thinking about individualistically. Maybe their small clan family, right? And that's the reason why we having the effects. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to touch on, why women choose to be single, or well, excuse me, they don't choose to be single. Why women want to focus on being independent, feel like they're independent. I touched on it in a previous video. They're not independent, they're interdependent. But anywho, but really we're just gonna touch on, women and living in this age of independence, and what kind of effects that is having on us and will have on us. Okay. So without further ado, I got a couple of video clips I want to show you, and we'll talk about it. All right. Let's get into
it. That the independence is a kind of a smoky mirror. And what I mean by that is that, like, again, we're in a society that pushes the independence of women. Go out there, get your bag, go out there, do this, go out there, do that. Right. So a lot of women move around with that mindset and fool themselves into believing that a relationship is not important. And then they go out there and they achieve all those things and they attain all those things, and then they end up wanting a man anyway, right? But in the process of chasing all those things, you've kind of removed the aspect of you that men value most. And what I mean by that is the femininity has left, right? I mean, let's just be honest here. Like you can still be somewhat feminine, but when you out there chasing what you chasing corporate wise and climbing that ladder, fact is that to be at a high level in those fields requires a certain level of dominance, certain level of aggressiveness, certain level of masculinity, right? So when you adapt those traits, you lose femininity every time. I also think that
He hit it right on the head with that one. So, we've talked about, and you've probably heard a million times how, women who are chasing career success or, chasing money and things of that nature. A lot of time those women are not in their feminine essence, right? And at the end of the day, and it's funny because I had to break this down to a woman one time, because I don't think women think about it from their perspective. Like, if you as a woman wants a masculine man, then a man will want a feminine woman, right? It sounds really simple, but unfortunately, women don't think about it from that perspective, probably because they're only thinking about it from their perspective. They're not thinking about, because a lot of times women don't think about what men want, which is part of the problem, but that's a whole nother video, right, that we can make. Um, so when we talk about independent people or independent women, right, because men don't call themselves independent, right? It's just silly, um, that there's a level of ostracization that has to happen, right, in order to be successful, right. A lot of times I spend a lot of times by myself because I'm working. In order to be focused, I need to concentrate on what the task at hand. So I have to be by myself, right? Like, women aren't built for that. Okay. And if you get two people in a relationship trying to do that, it, I mean, that leads nowhere, right? So at the end of the day, when we're talking about men and women dynamics, women need to be in a place where they can have a happy medium, right? Even if they're all working, right? They need to work enough where they still need to prioritize family and prioritize relationships, because women are social creatures. Not that men aren't. It's just that men always have had a responsibility to take care of home, to be protectors and providers. Okay, let's go into the next clip.
Really independent. Now hold on, because I know some of y'all are already feeling some kind of way. Because the word independent or independent woman, it hits y'all. And you're asking, well, what in the world is wrong with being independent? Shouldn't that be respected and loved? Listen, any man with genuine intentions won't take issue with your ability to do so. However, if he's a good man, he wants to love you. And in the desire to love you, he wants to provide, he wants to do things for you. And when you are overly independent, you are cutting off his ability to give you love. You are choking his ability to feel valued in a relationship. Being overly.
And yes, men do want to feel needed, right? I mean, we just got to be honest, right? But at the end of the day, like, if we choose you to, you know, make a family, build a family, right? We want to know that you understand that you have a role and you have a place in this dynamic, right? And your role and place is not to play the breadwinner and not be the breadwinner. Because a lot of time that's what you see when you hear women talking about they're independent, but they're still seeking a man, right? So they want to have very masculine aspects and play the role of a man, but they're not trying to plan dates. They're not trying to pay all the bills, most of the bills, or anything like that, right? So they want their cake and they want their ice cream and they want their chairs. They want everything. Right? So they want all the good things that comes with being quote unquote independent, but they don't want the responsibility and accountability. And a lot of times that is the issue, because at the end of the day, it's a mindset of why men do not find quote unquote independent women attractive, right? It's how they think, right? They have a lot of feminist rhetoric. They have a lot of qualities that is very selfish and very, masculine in nature. Okay. Hey, I got one more clip for you, and then we're gonna wrap this episode up. Let's get to it.
Is it true that men dislike independent women? Your girl got a perspective. Let's get into it, family. Yeah, I don't think men dislike women that can take care of themselves. Personally, don't think that that's unattractive. What I've heard, and men correct me if I'm wrong, is the way that women who take care of themselves and do it well conduct themselves with men. Sometimes women like this and carry an attitude of, I don't need a man. What can a man do for me that I can't do for myself? And men feel that energy. I think it's important for a woman to be able to take care of herself. But I think the way that she goes about it, to not diminish other people or make other people feel less than, can push people away. Now, there are men that don't really want women that make a lot of money because their pride is like, I can't be with a woman who makes more than me. And I get that. But I think men have more of an issue with the attitude that comes with women who say they're independent. All right, y'all. Is it true that men...
And I just touched on the fact, like I said, it's about the attitude. And a couple of things that I took from that video clip is real men, they don't care about how much money you make, right? So the issue is not taking care of yourself. You're an adult. You're supposed to take care of yourself, right? That's not the issue, right? The issue is not how much money you make. If you was a millionaire, cool, good for you, right? Those are not the issues. The issue is always the attitude and the ego. And let's be real, men with a lot of money and a lot of success, they have ego too, right? Ego just looks different on a man than it does a woman, right? I was thinking earlier, and it's funny I was gonna post this, but I ended up not doing it. So this is exclusive, right? The reason why you see women saying they're independent and acting in the way they do and talk about getting in the bag is because it's new to them, right? They're used to following being behind a man and letting a man take care of them. That now that you see a lot of women that are kind of quote unquote reclaiming their life, right? So they're bragging about it and they stepping out in the forefront and they making sure everybody know I'm independent. I'm independent. I liken it to black people with money, right? The reason why black people are so flash and the reason why black people are individualistic, well, because they learned that from, another group of people, but it's because like black people are new to money. Right? What, we've only been having money for the last 30, 40 years, right? Give or take. So that's what I kind of like to bring as an analogy and an example when it comes to women claiming they're independent, right? They just have to let you know that they have money and they can take care of themselves and they don't need you, right? Well, at the same time, they don't realize that they're really pushing away the very men that they say they want. Okay, because like I said, it's not about the money, it's not about you taking care of yourself, it's about your attitude. And guess what do we see in relationships? Well, it's like, well, I don't need you, so I can get rid of you at any point. But what women are failing to understand is that, what did Kanye say? It's 1,000 yous, is only one of me, right? Now, you may be in a smaller percentage because you make a certain amount of money, if that's your case. But even when we look at the stats, women are not balling out of control like social media would have you think. Okay. So we just got to be real about that. Okay. So we're going to end the episode, man. Hopefully, I gave you a different perspective when it comes to talking about women and their independence and how we living in the age of independence, right? Hey, please let me know what you think. Do you feel like we living in the age of independence? Share your thoughts and opinions on it. Okay. And as always, send me any topics, videos you would like for me to explore different topics. Please send them my direction. Okay. Like, share the video. Okay. Holla at your boy. All right. But as always, I'm you, you're me. Love always, love return. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. Hey, and we out. Deuces. One love.